It may look like I'm in a very, very beautiful place now, but not too long ago, I was surrounded by the darkest circumstances I could ever imagine. And I would never want to go through those again, but I am very grateful that I went through them because the pressures of today that are weighing you down, that you think that you're not going to be able to get through, are actually the things that are creating all the abundance for you in the future. And honestly, the more you're able to face these pressures of the present moment, the better it gets. But there are some caveats to that, some things that you actually need to know in order to make that happen. Otherwise, you're just going to keep spiraling. Otherwise, you're just going to keep having these dark nights of the soul over and over and over. And it's going to seem like your life is just a constant cycle of dark times. And I know what that feels like. I know how that pressure can really make you feel like everything is lost, like nothing is going your way. Relationships, financial, dreams, sleep, everything, addictions, all kinds of things, everything you can think of, even near-death experiences. And I've had a few of those. So I want to talk about how you have to navigate this world in a way where you understand that pain and suffering is just something that comes along with being alive. The pressures of today will never go away. They will look different. They will take different forms. They will be coming to you while you have different levels of mindset. But you will always have pressures of today. If you had $1 million tomorrow, guaranteed there will be new pressures. There will be new dilemmas. There will be new problems. Things that you didn't foresee. That you may think, once I get here to something, once this happens, once I own this thing or acquire this thing or get with this person or go to that place, everything will be okay. All these pressures will disappear. No. The whole point of the pressure is for you to learn how to grow through it. It actually is making you stronger because in most cases, I've seen that I was not ready for the abundance I thought I wanted. If I was given the abundance that I thought I wanted too early, it would actually derail my whole life way more than if I just stayed in my current circumstance at that time. And it's very easy to see that when you give somebody way more money than they ever thought possible in a very short amount of time. And then you see how quickly their life starts to kind of spiral into indulgences and addictions and things like that. And again, there's no judgment about this. Everybody has to go through these kinds of things to understand how do you cultivate abundance at the same time of leveling up your integrity, your morality, your wisdom, your discernment. All of that stuff has to go up with the abundance. Otherwise, when you try to acquire abundance or you're sitting there desiring and wanting it and you're just pleading and begging for it in whatever way you're doing that, it's not going to hit the same when you get it. It's not going to make you feel good like you want. It's actually going to start making you feel anxious It's going to make you start thinking about loss. It's going to make you start coping and filling the holes within yourself with things that don't actually fulfill you. Things that just soothe your nervous system for a second, but then they have side effects that last a lifetime. So the easiest analogy here is that every diamond requires pressure. No diamond is made on the surface. No diamond is ever just spawns on top of the sand. The diamonds are made in the deepest, darkest parts of the earth. And you're going to find your greatest gems, the things that you are actually meant to bring out of yourself and grace this world with, in the deepest and darkest parts of yourself. That is the soil. That's the fertile soil that you have to learn is the garden within you. And the more you can cultivate that garden, the more you just start popping out gems like it's nothing. The more the gems just start to be an effect of who you are. But you're not going to embody that identity by avoiding pressure. You're not going to embody that identity by avoiding the difficulties of life. That's not how it works. The difficulty of life is what you chose. You wouldn't want a life on easy mode. You wouldn't want a life that is just like, you know exactly what's going to happen. You know exactly how to get rich. You know exactly how much you're going to have in your bank account forever. That's boring as fuck. You wouldn't want that. You would very quickly start trying to numb yourself so that you can just kind of get away from existing. And nobody wants that. Everybody wants a little challenge. Everybody wants a little give and pull. Nobody wants a relationship where the person is basically just like an automaton, a robot that just follows every order possible and just never has any opinion on anything and nothing to add to the relationship. That's boring. So the pressure is what you need. That's what we came here for. Is to leave a realm of pure love and abundance where there's really no choice but to be in love and light and abundance. To come to a world where you have to choose, you have to make choices that will lead you into the dark or the light, that will create abundance or decay. But it works in opposites. You usually have to go through the painful thing to actually see the abundance on the other side. If you try to jump straight to the things that make you feel great all the time, then you're going to end up not really having much abundance around you. And again, there's no judgment. I didn't end up in this place because I had the greatest of circumstances. I didn't end up in this place because I had privilege. I ended up in this place through blood, sweat, and tears. Through having nights sitting there with my hands on my eyes, wondering what's going on. Why is this so hard? Why is nothing going right? What am I doing wrong? Why is my life like this? Can I just get a break? Can I just have some sort of semblance of ease instead of all this suffering? Until I started to realize, oh shit, the suffering is actually making me strong. The sufferings or the pain that used to completely just derail my whole life 3-4 years ago, I just look at them and I laugh now. It's like, wow, that really was something that would have just totally had me in a tailspin. And when that starts to happen, you actually start to gain confidence in the pressure. You start to actually like the pressure. You start to see, like, just as if you've been in the gym, if you haven't, you should try that out. It's pretty fun once you get a hang of it, and see the progress. As you begin to see the progress, you see your strength going up. You see your resilience. You see your ability to not be pulled by so many temptations. Then things change. Then you start to actually feel very confident in the new identity you are walking around in, because this is a vessel. You are a spirit. You are meant to change. There is nothing about you that is supposed to stay the same all the time. And that's the problem, is most people are trying to stay the same all the time. They get really comfortable with a situation. They love that situation. They love that person. They love the idea of how these things are making them feel. And then they don't want to actually allow more space for more abundance in their life that's going to come to you in a painful way. Because being in comfort and then becoming uncomfortable is always painful. Because who likes getting out of warm covers into cold air conditioning? Nobody likes that. But that's what you got to do. You have to get up. You got to get up. You got to get out of those covers and go make it happen. As warm as they may be, you got to go make it happen. And a lot of those things that you're going to have to do to make it happen is going to be very strenuous. It's going to be meticulous. It's going to be painful. You're going to go through heartbreaks and separation. So many things that you would rather just avoid. But if you avoided all of them, there would be no point to life in the first place. Joy gets real boring and starts to feel like pain the more consistent it is. Just give somebody nonstop euphoria for a week straight. They'll be asking for some painful event to happen. They'll be looking to make it happen. They'll be trying to basically self-sabotage to create a painful circumstance. And that's what most of us are actually going through. We have so much comfort now, so many temptations, so many things that could ease our life and make us feel so much better all the time, that now we don't know what to do with that level of comfort. We don't know what to do with that level of ease. So then we start self-sabotaging everything to make things difficult, to make things get more painful so we can like shock ourselves out of this cycle of constant euphoria. The body literally survives because it is constantly fighting entropy. It's constantly fighting death. As soon as you stop breathing, the body stops fighting for life. And then it decays. So you have to see that every moment that you are breathing, you are making a statement, you are making a decision, a decree that you want to live. You want life over decay. And that is going to feel painful at times. But the beauty about the painful parts, the beauty about the pressure, is that the more pressure you can take, the more those little points of alleviation, those little points of ease after you've put in the work, you've made this shit happen, you've materialized things that were in your mind and now you can touch and hold them. Those are the feelings you couldn't even describe to somebody else. It's so much euphoria in one instance that you would never trade that for a whole life of comfort. Because all you want are those moments. The moment in a UFC fighter fights through doubt, losses, all kinds of shit, sponsorships being deleted, people not believing in them. They work their ass off for years and then they finally win a title. You can't even describe the type of euphoria that that man or woman is feeling in the middle of that ring when they win that award. Same thing goes for a relationship. When you have a horrible relationship where you just feel like it's just constant pressure all the time to be somebody who you're not, and you're wearing these masks and you're becoming somebody who you're not, and you know you're supposed to be something greater, and then finally you make the decision to separate this for the betterment of your being. And you feel that alleviation of, the sigh of relief that I get to finally be myself after going through so much of what wasn't me. You can't even describe those kind of moments to people because they are precious. They only come after the hard work. They only come after the pressure has been overcome. That is the point of this game that we're calling life. The game is supposed to be difficult. The game is supposed to have ups and downs and bends and things that you have to navigate on the fly. You're not supposed to know what the path is. You're supposed to figure it out as you go because it builds character. It turns you into the kind of person that you actually want to be. The person you would look up to, the person you would seek advice from, the person that would give you the kind of wisdom that you wish you had 5, 10, 15 years ago. So that's the point of the pressure. The pressure is good. You should seek the pressure. You should lean into the things that actually make you feel a little fearful about, is that going to work? Am I going to be able to make that happen? Like, damn, do I want to go for this business? Am I going to be able to pay my rent? Am I going to be able to go to this place far off, away from my homeland, where I know no one? And am I going to be able to make it happen? Am I going to get stuck there? You're going to have to deal with those thoughts and tell those thoughts to shut up. You're going to have to tell those thoughts to just quiet the fuck down. Because I have a mission. I have a mission that requires me to learn how to navigate turbulence. You wouldn't even be able to fly anywhere if we didn't discover how to navigate through turbulence. The wind is unpredictable. There will be bumps. There will be shifts. There will be problems. But you must already going into the journey understand that these things are going to occur and prepare yourself accordingly. Then you don't get so derailed. You understand that it's going to happen. You understand that you might get into a relationship and that doesn't actually pan out. You're not meant to be with that person forever. You're going to get into a business and understand that it could fail. That's leading you to a new revelation that will take you to the next business that's meant to succeed. You're going to go to a place that's not meant to be where you're supposed to live forever. And you may not even like that place, but that's going to lead you into the decision to go to the next place, which is your paradise, your oasis, the place you've always wanted to be. But that takes time, bro. You got to be willing to make the choices that are mistakes. You got to be willing to go through the pressures of messing up, of choosing the wrong direction, and then moving accordingly. So don't be afraid of the pressure, man. Every saint, sage, yogi, everybody you can think of, they went through more pressures than anybody could ever imagine. They had the weight of the world on them. They didn't get enlightenment by just thinking love and light. They went through more darkness than anybody could conceive of. More darkness than most people would ever even want to think about. And they did that internally alone, in solitude first. Then they started to give that out to the world. Then they started to tell the wisdom to people. Then they started to give the divine downloads, insights, alignment to everyone else, scripture. But it wasn't scripture at first. It wasn't the Vedas. It wasn't these ancient sacred texts at first. These were inner revelations that were happening in someone's mind by overcoming the pressures of their darkness. And then they became the diamond that we know of now. Then they became the shining star that we know of as a prophet or a yogi or a rishi or an enlightened master. So don't get it twisted. You can be an enlightened master too. You can transmute your darkness, your pressure, into abundance whenever you want. But you got to make that choice. Nobody's going to make that choice for you.